I have got a juicy story for you up top. Not often do you have a story that involves sacred burial sites, attack dogs, pepper spray, the big banks, and the Chamber of Commerce, right? Come on. Now, you come for the Chamber of Commerce, but you stay for the attack dogs. As I hope you know by now, a company is tearing through North Dakota like White Castle tears through the human digestive tract. And both scenarios involve natural gas. A corporation called Energy Transfer is putting in an oil pipeline that most people who live there do not want. If the pipeline were to ever leak, it would likely ruin the water supply for Standing Rock Reservation and millions of others. Energy Transfer are also ripping up sacred burial grounds. Because, you know, nothing bad happens when you disturb Indian burial grounds. That's like every horror movie ever. So this past weekend, as the bulldozers were ripping up the actual burial location, protesters went to stop them. This construction was oddly happening on a Saturday of a holiday weekend because, you know, desecrating the land of an entire people, it doesn't take a day off, all right? It is a full-time job. There is no nap time in corporate massacre. We're on the clock here, all right? When they arrived to stop the bulldozers, the protesters were greeted with pepper spray and attack dogs. Watch. Yeah, dogs bit many protesters and others were pepper sprayed. The dog handlers, which I prefer to call dog enablers, they were not police. They were a private security firm brought in to apparently bite people by way of dogs. And the police, who had been ever present at the construction site, magically disappeared when the dog biting began. Just take a second and process this scenario. A massive corporation wants to put their pipeline through your land. They don't care whether you want it or not. They then begin ripping up your land and your burial sites. All the while, the people making these decisions are never down there. They're probably not even in the state of North Dakota. When you try to stand up against it, they send a combination of lawyers, police, and maniacs who were clearly not hugged enough as children. And those maniacs have attack dogs that were clearly not hugged enough as puppies. At the end of the day, for corporate America, you're just another thing to push out of the way of their pulverizing of our world. Side note, I got a letter from the dog's lawyers, and they said I legally have to mention that dogs are not always mean. All right, they're often very cute. They are. Yeah. There you go. See? All right, I'll take a vote. Do you want me to finish that monologue, or do you guys want to watch just 22 minutes of that right there? Never mind. I'm losing that vote. I'm going to lose that vote. All right. In case you were wondering, it is the big banks funding the $3.8 billion Dakota Access Pipeline. All your favorite players have a piece in this. Those attack dogs are the teeth of the faceless entities that dominate our corporate totalitarian government. And the completely unbiased Chamber of Commerce weighed in on this in an article titled, "Arrests Arson and Anger. Anti-Energy Protesters Target North Dakota Pipeline." Yes, these anti-energy protesters, they just hate energy so much. They hate it so much they drink little bottles of 5-hour sit still and 7-hour lethargy. The chamber, that stuff works. It works. The Chamber of Commerce even created a map, which they had in the article, to show the pipeline. As you can see, the pipeline is what it does basically is it carries magical stars from North Dakota down to Illinois on a pink cotton candy slide. One can only assume it's being built by the Lollipop Guild. Who doesn't want that? According to the Chamber of Commerce, these so-called peaceful protesters have been wreaking havoc by doing things like putting their arms in dogs' mouths and sucking pepper spray into their faces using their eyes. They are the villains of the highest order. They are. As the Chamber of Commerce points out, the FBI is investigating an incident where someone pointed a laser pointer on a North Dakota state government plane that was watching the protesters. Say it ain't so! A laser pointer? Next they'll be hurling dry erase board markers at people. Where does the violence end? In case you were curious where Hillary Clinton stands, her website says Hillary will continue to stand for tribal sovereignty and in support of tribal resources and sacred sites. She will strengthen public safety and justice in Indian country. Yet Hillary has been silent on the Dakota pipeline protests, but in her defense, she probably has no idea what her website says. All right. I mean, it's housed on a server underneath the Atlantic, so who knows what goes on there. But one presidential candidate is actually standing with the protesters at Standing Rock. Jill Stein joined them in spray painting messages on the front of one of the bulldozers used to destroy their land. And for that, And for that, Jill Stein has now been charged with mischief and trespassing by the state of North Dakota. This is the perfect example of the criminalization of any action that even resembles getting in the way of the corporate state. However, truly criminal acts, such as tearing apart the sacred land of the Standing Rock Sioux, are not just legal, but profitable. This is the upending of a moral and just society. Anything done by the corporations and the politicians who serve them is legal. Anything done to stop their pillaging is illegal. It's time we fight back against this. Give me my laser pointer and under-hug attack puppies. We're going in. Coming to you from Washington, D.C., the Belly of the Beast is redacted tonight.